It's an early start, right? To bring up my manager. That's it saying, hey, Silly Internet Tricks is now live. All right. Random color cycling. All right. Let's see if we can hear things. Hello? Hello? Do I look synced? I look pretty well synced, I think. Wait, I don't hear the music. Oh yeah, I do. It's fine. Okay. I was just gonna plug this in. All right. So I told myself yesterday I would try doing some of the resume prep here on stream because I think I said I thought I'd be able to focus on it better or something. So let's have a look. First of all, nope. First of all, let's see what it was that I posted. Okay. Let's find that here. Okay, so here's me, 5 a.m. So here's what I had posted. I will try to do, it's a little small, isn't it? I will try to do a part of the resume prep that I think will be good for me to do on stream, because it might be easier for me to focus. I probably would have done well to revise that instead of just posting it like that. Here, what revision would I make? Revised. I will work on resume prep because there is a part of the process that I think I want to do on stream. It's a part that I might be able to focus on better when streaming. Okay, that's not much better, but well, I don't know. Let's ooh, it's ugly. So I was thinking, okay, so here are the notes that I wrote for myself when I was at work. Okay, so first of all, on this side, I started to like format a resume, but obviously I didn't get very far. It's almost completely blank. I just put debug technician. That's the resume title, or the job title for the resume. I guess that's the resume title. There's my name, Josh Parker, work history, flex, March 2025 to present. That's the most important one, the most significant one for this resume. So, and then here on this side, I put some notes. Let me read them first and then I'll explain. So I put receiving, water spider, S-floor, palletizing, cables, shelf picking, rails, And this is not related. BTW, Trump Zindabad. Okay. Sure. So these are some of like the different areas within the rack warehouse. So basically, I work at a big place, and in fact, am I so deranged that I'm gonna actually show where I work? That's not a question I should be asking myself, is it? Okay, so yes, I am that deranged, I guess. So, one sec, I got it coming up here. All right, here's what it looks like. So this is where I work. You can see I put a work icon, and I can see I put my head here. And so yeah, so this is the place. I find it interesting. It's a rather like large building, right? According to this measurement, the size of the building is like 50,000 square meters basically. It's pretty crazy, right? So that's over 500,000 square feet. So I mean, it kind of seems like a lot, right? Like the total distance of this perimeter is over 950 meters of just the building itself. It's kind of a large building, one of the larger buildings I've ever worked in, and you can get an idea of the scale of it because in this imagery, I think you can see cars in the parking lot. See, these are I'm not sure what these are actually. I'm pretty sure these are all like full-size truck trailers, right? And then here are cars shown. Oh, let's go out of the 3D. Wait a minute. If we turn off the globe view, okay, so there it is. So that's more like regular imagery. It was trying to render it as like a 3D rendering. I was like, that's a little weird. All right, so you can see these cars there. So, yeah. That's where I work. So, what's significant about it? So there are two companies. Okay, so you can see this part is where I work, the server factory, and the rest of it, most of it, so I would say probably about this much of it is the factory portion right here. Probably something like that. See, this here is the trash compactor that I usually often work close to. Okay, so, and then the rest of it, most of the building is this company, DB Schenker. And they're using all of this as a warehouse where, as far as I know, they just keep rack and server related items. So it's a very large warehouse. And so the factory itself, I think, is pretty much just that portion that I have outlined there. That's a rough idea of how much of it is the factory. I think it's pretty close, at least on that side. But anyway, and you can see here they've got a ton of equipment on the top, this HVAC related equipment. This part in the center here, this is the server test room. And so they have servers running in here all the time. Quite a lot of them, actually. I roughly estimated at one point that I think they probably ship out like 2,000 or 3,000 servers per week, I would guess. I haven't actually seen those numbers, but the guess that I have, it seems right-ish. All right, so then if we go back, so the idea is, and you can see that there are quite a few parking spaces, and interestingly enough, the photo is taken somehow at a time when there are not many cars in the parking lot, right? But you can see, like, okay, so here's the size of cars. You can see there is a pretty good sized parking lot here for the factory workers, right? Normally this parking lot is pretty full. So one thing they changed recently is now it used to be that everybody working over here on the rack side would come in this entrance, and everybody working over here on the server side would come in this entrance. Or, like, that wasn't a rule or anything, that was just what made sense for people. But they changed it. They made a rule now, which is that night shift uses this entrance at shift change. And day shift, I'm on day shift. I think day shift is better for me, as it would be for most people, I think. And day shift uses this entrance. So what that means is basically during the night shift, this portion of the parking lot is all filled in, like up through, like, around here, and then there are spaces available still over here. There's still a lot of cars parked, but there would be spaces available. And then during the day shift, all of this is filled in, all of this is filled in, and then there are some spaces. So it's really a lot better because it just makes the shift change smoother in terms of finding parking. So a ton of people work at this place. I would say it's probably more than 200 people on each shift, I would guess. Um, but I don't really know exactly how many people work at this place. I don't have a count. I think it's likely over 200 people on each shift. So these positions, like, so in the rack warehouse, they have everything split up, right? So they have a ton of people working at this place, and everybody does certain just particular duties, right? I think it works well, you know. It's classic industrial efficiency, or whatever you want to call it. So that's what these are. So receiving, so items will come in from DB Shanker. They'll put them in a particular room here called the Hawes, which I think is the handoff zone. And then you have to check everything and put it into the computer, basically, and then put them, like, where they go. That's receiving, basically. Right? So it's actually pretty simple because we don't receive off of trucks. Some things do come in on trucks to right here. It's mostly cardboard boxes and pallets that come in, and that most of the actual rack hardware comes in through DB Shanker, through the handoff zone. So pretty chill, pretty chill. Then this one is Water Spider. So the role of the Water Spider is to check everything before and as it's leaving the warehouse, right? So basically, you'll gather up all the materials that are meant to be taken out to rack prep. And so the materials are, I'm probably going to start listing them here. Oh, actually, okay. I made this site. It's actually mostly vibe coded, which is not, I mean, I don't know. I'll own it, I guess. And I suppose it looks that way. So one thing I have here, though, that is not vibe coded, and you'll probably be able to see, is this, no, not this. This right here, Markdown Helper. I don't think a chatbot would have done that, at least not without a lot of goading. But basically, yeah, this is something. Well, actually, I'll tell you where it comes from. It comes from Exorcism. And if you go into the JavaScript track, they have an exercise here. Wait, where are the exercises? Oh, let me try to log in. Uh-oh. Okay, it's loading, I guess. All right, cool. So let's find JavaScript. And they have an exercise. Let's see, continue without donating. Okay, so they have an exercise here. I'm not sure if it is going to be green or not, because I think I did it on a different account, actually. It might have been one of these. Okay, so here are the exercises. I think it's just called Markdown. Okay, so this was the exercise, right? So we go start in editor. So it's listed as a refactoring exercise. I myself, when I did it, I just deleted everything. And then if you just run tests, it'll be like, oh, does not provide an export named parse. Okay, so we'll go export. Let's see, what do? We go modules.export equals. So let's say const parse. Is that how? That's going to be wrong, isn't it? Missing initializer. Okay. Does not provide. Okay, so modules.export. The requested module markdown.js does not provide an export named parse. Off the top of my head, is it because it's early or just because I haven't been doing this lately? Okay. Okay. Modules. Did I just get that wrong? I'm just guessing that based on the title of one of those Stack Overflow posts. You must use ESM export syntax. Okay. Ah, all right. So that's a little better. All right. So then it says parse normal text as a paragraph. And so it expected this will be a paragraph. Okay. So some text is going to come in here. And we're going to return p tag t p tag. So will that make that pass? Is that too much? Let me resize that. Okay. So let's see what that says. Okay, so now it says parsing italics. So we expected an italic, right? So I think that's with stars. Let's see, does it show what the input was of the test? Not exactly, but so we're just gonna go t replace. And so now if we have some literal star plus some so I guess it has to be a word character right after that. And then it can be any amount of characters. So it can optionally be any amount of characters that are not word characters plus another word character. So this part is optional. And then another literal star. Okay, so these are not literal stars. Okay, so anywhere that this pattern appears, we want to replace with em $1. Yeah. That might not quite be right. Let's see what it says. Okay, so, oh, it was underscores. There it is. So it was actually underscores. So I still might want to do it for the literal stars. Like, that might not be a waste. But let's do it for underscores. Technically, I guess maybe you could have an underscore in there, but probably usually not. Okay, so I did mess it up. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, let me put the whole thing in parentheses to make it match $1. But I think it's still not right. Expect it. Okay, so no. Oh, it's any amount of this, my bad. Okay, so, and it's not that. So underscore word character, optionally, any amount of not underscores with a word character at the end. Nope, still no. Let's not do this one. Replace. Okay, so this is what we're getting in, it looks like. So it should match some underscore, then a word character, then optionally any amount of not underscores, and a word character after that. Followed by another underscore. So this is the part that should be like that. It's... man, I'm sloppy. Okay. Unterminated group. Okay, so that did match. So if we replace... okay. Nope, still no good. Oh, interesting. Oh, of course. My bad. All right, strong. This will be bold, it says. Okay, so before we do that, we have to check if it's doubled. And so it's going to be pretty much similar. I'm just going to copy then. So if these are doubled, then that's a different story. These become strong and strong. Okay, so if the line starts with a hash, then we do not want that to be a paragraph. Oh, and in fact, pretty soon we're going to have to change this paragraph thing right here. So I think that's going to need to be changed right now. So at the end, let's just return t. So here we're going to say t equals t replace. All right, so now if we have a line that starts with hash at the start of the line, and then a space, and then it could be whatever through the end of the line. And here, do we have to turn on multi-line mode for this? GM? Maybe. Then we say H1. And so we get rid of the hash, so it's this part here. $1 H1. Okay. So then we do for the normal paragraph. So any line that it just has anything on it. But this first character, I guess, has to be not a less than sign. Yeah, probably something like that. Okay. Oh, I got rid of the T. Okay. Can we still see that? Okay. All right, so then messed up the italic. Okay. So I guess we want to do this before doing italics. Okay, so now we have an H2. So here, let's see. So when we have some amount of hashes, the number of hashes is going to tell us which heading to use. So we have some number of hashes. Okay. I think I might have to remind myself of what goes in here. So when we do a function like this for replacement, the capture groups get passed in. So I'm going to say it's G1 and G2. I may have to look this up, but before I look it up, let me try here. So then this one will become G1 length. And then this will become 2. Or actually, since we're passing it in that way, I guess we have to put G2. Oh, here it says H20. Oh, okay, interesting. So it's probably maybe like that. Okay. All right, nice. So now we have to be sure that the number of hashes here is not greater than 6. Okay, so let's see what that does for us. Okay, so now we have unordered list. So we expected, what is this? So I made them into paragraphs, and they're lines that start with stars. So if the line starts with a single star, then we are going to make those into list items. And then when we finish making list items, I guess we have to put the whole thing into an unordered list. Okay. So that wasn't serving me. So I think we want to do this earlier, probably. So I think we start with the star at the front. So we're at the start of a line. There's a literal star. There's a space. And then there's some amount of maybe other stuff. And then there's the rest. There's the end of the line. GM. So then this is going to become a list item. Right? Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so it did show the list item, although I didn't type it correctly. Oh, wait. Okay. All right, so those became list items, and then once we're finished with that, we should put all of them into an unordered list. So that's gonna be like so we're gonna have some amount of lines that like the whole line. So there's a new line, and then there is li, and then there's some amount of something that's not a new line. Like that. Oops. I'm gonna have to take a quick break here pretty soon. But so then it's end of list item. Whoops. And then we can have this, like, this can appear any number of times, right? Well, one or more. Okay, so new line. Okay. So in this case, we're gonna go UL. The problem is that this did not handle unordered lists. Or excuse me, this handled unordered lists, not ordered lists. But let's just see. Okay, so expected received. Okay, so still, oh wait, I do have a UL shown there, but I didn't put it in the right place. Ah, sad. Okay, so maybe the new line goes at the end, or maybe we can't rely on a new line, but let's see. What if it just goes at the end? What does that do for us? Okay, so then it's going to be either a new line or the end of input, I guess. Is that better? Okay, yeah, that is better. But now we have to get rid of the internal new lines. So that's going to be like G1 replace any new lines that are inside of there with nothing. Okay, so with a little bit of everything. So it was expecting header, and we did get header. Is it expecting all new lines to be eliminated at the end as well? Okay. So if it's expecting all new lines to be eliminated at the end, then perhaps there was no point in doing this, but whatever, let's just see. Okay. Unordered lists close properly with preceding and following lines. H1 start a list. I think that part looks right. Then I have a UL. Then I have item 1, item 2, UL. Oh, and then interesting. So we put end a list in a P. Oh no, it was supposed to be in a P, but we didn't end up with the P. The P was expected. Ah. So why did I lose out on the P? Darn. It's because I got rid of that new line there. So I'm just going to put a new line here temporarily, and I think that'll fix it. Oh, and that's it. That's our, so I'll go ahead and submit, I guess. That was it. I mean, all tests pass. So, so that's my janky, I'm not going to request code review on it. But that's my janky markdown parser. And of course, like if you compare, so it was presented as a refactoring exercise, right? But I just did it from scratch. But my goodness gracious. So that's my janky concept of a plan for a markdown parser. And we didn't even do an ordered list. What's going on? Oh, did I ever end up adding an ordered list to this one? I don't think I did. Well, it would need an ordered list. An ordered list is a good thing to have. All right, so there it is, the cat shrine. I'm going to be right back in maybe 5 minutes. All right. So, great. So anyway, so that's like, so on this site, the markdown parser or whatever is used for these. These are straight up, these are generated by chatbots. By my local chatbots, but yes, by chatbots nonetheless. Anyway, and it looks pretty bad, right? Like, actually, that doesn't look as bad as I thought. I'm not sure that this menu sidebar is supposed to overlap the GIFs like that, but it actually doesn't look that bad, in my opinion. All right. Zoomed up, does that look worse? I don't know. I think it's still okay. So, kind of goofy. This gradient animation, that is 100% vibe coded. I don't know. I'm not sure I even like I mean, I guess I know how to do that. It's just not something I would have thought to do. I guess it's cool though. So, yes. Um, so I got very sidetracked here. Let me try to remind myself. What was I doing? So I was on there looking at things. So I was looking at this, and I discussed some of these points. Okay, so water spider. So basically, in the rack prep area, they assemble the racks, right? So there are different steps that happen, right? So an order comes in from Amazon. All the racks and servers, they're all made for Amazon. So an order comes in from Amazon, I guess, for some server and for some rack with servers on it. And so all of the materials are going to have to be in the warehouse. And there are two warehouses, server warehouse and rack warehouse. They're kept separate. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I want to make a visual, but that's just my stupid side. Like it doesn't really require a visual. I feel like a visual would help. Okay, so if I were to do a visual, I've never been on Canva. I think this is my first time trying to visit, but I heard that they have a pretty good Microsoft Paint-like experience. Shall I sign up? Um, Personal. Skip. Skip. Oh my gosh. All right, so let's choose just the blank Microsoft Paint, I think would be good. Oh, it's supposed to be a pop-up? Okay. All right, all right. So if we try to draw this out, editing, is this like Microsoft Paint? I think it must be, right? Hold on. Where's my oh, here it is. Draw. Huh. Yeah, okay, I think that's fine. Where's zoom in? Zoom way in. Okay. All right, so here it is. Okay, yeah, this is fine. All right, so let's try to imagine real quick. I don't think this is going to help because I'm going to draw it really poorly, probably, but here goes, I guess. So we have a rack warehouse area. That's a little bit like this. Coming out a little bit uglier than I was fully prepared for, but okay. I feel like I need to zoom in even more. Okay, let's go back. Okay. Okay, so wait. Why did it go away? Okay, so let's just say here is pause. Yeah, I'm not necessarily supposed to reveal all this information. Like, there's some information is proprietary, so let's not go into too much detail. Basically, there are 3 houses like this. Misguided neighbor FAHB. Oh, excuse me. Neighbor GRFAHB. Thanks for chatting. Okay, so there's kind of a warehouse, basically, like this. Phew. Okay, so I'm going to try to make some sense of it, I suppose. So here we have pallets stored. This is where things come in from the shipping company, the logistics company, whatever you want to call it. Whoops. And things don't really go the other direction. Some waste pallets or like used pallets go through the other direction, and that's pretty much it. And used like boxes, if they're wood boxes. Okay, so then in this area we keep rack enclosures, right? So they're like 48 unit racks and 41 unit racks, I think. Anyway, so the bigger ones are the 48 unit and the smaller ones are the 41 unit, and those are kept here. This is kind of like the main passageway, and everything's going out kind of this direction, because this is where the racks are actually assembled, up in here. And over here, this is where the racks will be shipped. We're going to go into pretty much all of these details, I think. Okay. So now, where is erase? Let me erase part of this because it's not oh gosh, it erased the whole thing. Okay, well, let's draw it again. Okay. So then there's more up here that I kind of wanted to include. Okay. So over here, there is like a dock, just one. And this is where trucks come and drop off the pallets. In addition to pallets, large cardboard boxes are kept here. Like the racks, once they're assembled, they'll be put into cardboard boxes. So they're assembled on a big pallet. And then when they're finally ready to be shipped, they'll be boxed up. Okay. So let's go to blue. All right, so up here are cables and screws and things. They're kind of kept here on some racks. They're kept in bins on racks up here. They're just small items. Then over here, they keep a lot of bus bars. So the rack itself, so if you imagine like the enclosure, let's try. This is really not helping. This is just me procrastinating because I told myself I was going to do this resume. So if you have a rack enclosure kind of tall, so it's like 21 inches wide And 48 units makes it, I don't know, something like close to 8 feet tall or something like that. And then on one side of it, the back, you'll have a bus bar, and all of the servers just slide right back and slot into the bus bar. That's what gives them their power. Anyway, so in the warehouse, bus bars are kept up here. And down here are kept power shelves. It's a little bit of a misnomer, but the power shelf is kind of this gizmo that the power supply units and battery backup units slot into. And then the power supply units are kind of kept around here. This really isn't quite right. They should probably be more down here, but I didn't leave myself enough space, so I'm just gonna say it's like that. Ah, fine, okay. I don't know why the eraser works so goofy, but okay. So let me make more space down here. Okay, so let's erase that dock. Nope. So this is kind of the outer wall. The parking lot is on the other side. Let's erase this, I guess. Okay. So there's a dock here where things come in. And then, so here they keep like some fillers. Then they keep the switches. So there are like layer 3 switches and smaller layer 2 switches. And those are kind of kept along here. And then along here, they keep the power supply units, and here the power shelves. The battery backup units are hazmat, so when the racks get shipped out, they don't have the battery backup units installed during shipping. Those, I guess, have to be shipped separately and installed on site. We do have battery backup units for the test racks that are actually running server tests, but we don't ship them. Right? That makes sense, right? The battery backup units are hazmat. Okay, so then here they keep some chassis or canisters or whatever, so things like J-bods. So like if you're imagining that rack again, so if you have this tall rack, some racks are like J-bod racks. So the J-bod is just a bunch of disks. It's a bunch of hard drives that are like just all crammed together. And so for that to work, you'll have a 4-unit canister basically. And there's 6 spots. I don't think that's gonna quite look right. 1, 2. Let's try one more time. It's not quite gonna work. That's too thick. Two, 3. That's better. Okay, so imagine one of the J-bod canisters is like this. So there are 6 slots, and each of those you can slide in one of the J-bods, which they all have like 24 hard drives each into these. And then on the back of this canister, there's a clip that clips into the bus bar, and then it has connectors. It has 6 connectors so that each of the 6 J-bods can get power. All right. So then, so those are kept here, and then here somewhere are kept a bunch of rails. Let me go back to what it was before. Whoops. Okay, so rails would be kept over here, and the rails, of course, are what hold the servers. The servers slide onto the rails. Okay, so this brings me back to the water spider role. So the water spider is going to be working right here. This is the water spider's spot. And everything is going to be gathered together for each rack, right? So there will be a printout made. Somebody will print the list of all the materials that are being asked for one rack. And so they're going to be gathered from the warehouse. The water spider will check, and then when there's space up here in rack prep, that server will come out, right? I don't know why I said server. Start again. The materials for the rack will come out to rack prep. And then they'll be put together. So the idea is everything is put together here. And so once the rack is put together, then the server test room water spider is a different role. Those guys will find a suitable rack when they have a bunch of servers that are passed. They'll find the right rack, and then they'll put all the servers on it. And then once all the servers are put on it, then it will be cabled. They'll cable it, and then they'll test it. And then once the whole rack is tested, then it can be shipped out, and shipping out is here. All right, so let's see what else is on my list. So S-floor is just the role of gathering these power shelves and these power supply units and the canisters and chassis or whatever, right? Oh, so what I didn't show, so like with the JBOD, where you have the 6 JBODs, then there are going to be servers that go with the JBODs. So typically, it's 1 server for every 3 JBODs. And so it'll kind of be like you've got basically your 6 JBODs, like I was kind of trying to illustrate before, right? And then you have a separate chassis here. And this one, so this one's 4 units, and this one's only 1 unit. So they look pretty close to the same size because I drew them pretty poorly. But this one's only supposed to be 1 unit. Anyway, so 1 server goes here, and it'll be connected by cables to these 3 JBODs. And then 1 server goes here, and it'll be connected by cables to these 3 JBODs. All right. Okay. So, S-floor, right? Gathering these materials. Then palletizing. So palletizing is going to be taking the enclosures. The rack enclosures will be taken out to rack prep. And the pallet will be taken out to rack prep. And then the rack prep workers will put the enclosure on the pallet. Like, the enclosure comes on a pallet, but it comes on a small, like, throwaway pallet. These are, like, the heavy-duty shipping pallets, right? Because the enclosure itself, it's just, like, this big, tall, like, empty thing. It doesn't weigh much. But once the rack is fully assembled with all the servers loaded onto it, it's, like, 2,000 plus pounds. It depends on what it is. It might be 3,000. Some of them are less than 2,000. So, yeah. Then cables. So 1 person, depending on how many people happen to be employed in the warehouse at the moment, 1 person, maybe sometimes more than 1 person, has the job of working over here and gathering up all of the cables for each rack order, basically. That's pretty simple to do, but a lot of what you have to do here is like all of the boxes of cables that come in, right? Boxes of cables get shipped in, and then they have to be unboxed and put into bins. And so I don't know, you might call it a bit tedious. I think I'm going to go ahead and call it just a bit tedious. Then we have shelf picking, and that works over here. So these are like more screws and things, and there's not as much tedious like unboxing, because like the cables, like they're like these big kind of bulky packages, So like some of the cables, they might come only like 10 in a box, so you get a whole bunch of boxes of them. Whereas the screws, you don't get that many boxes. So shelf picking is doing this job, and then they're also supposed to be gathering up like these blank panels, these layer 3 switches, these layer 2 switches, and stuff. And like some rack labels. There are rack labels that are kept over here somewhere. And yeah, so basically shelf picking, they kind of will ultimately work kind of with the S floor. So the S floor guys are going to get these power shelves and these power supply units. They're going to get these chassis and canisters, if any. A lot of racks don't have any. They just have rails. But basically, all of these are going to be put together on a cart, and the shelf picking person is the one who kind of puts the final cart together to take it over here for the water spider. But I would really do it in this direction. All right. And then that lastly brings rails, and that's just gathering these rails. And like, so a lot of times the rack might have like a lot of rails, right? Because like a 48 unit rack might have up to like 48 rails almost. So yeah, that's it. So then the idea for the resume then is that I'm supposed to kind of spend some time and summarize all this information basically. So I was thinking, so finally this sort of brings me to what I was thinking. I was thinking that I would write it in here. So let's have a look. So if we look at the elements, right, in here we have these blog posts, right? So if I look at blog posts, I could pretty much edit one. So I could go blog posts, push, and add just another blog post of my own here. So it looks like each blog post starts with a new line. Okay, that makes sense. And then a hash for this. And so then I'm just going to call this debug technician. And then I'm going to put these items here. Receiving water spider S floor palletizing cables shelf picking rails. So even if I just start with that, then oh, let's see. So what if I run this again, this part here? What's that gonna do? Okay, so there kind of like will make something out of the markdown, or it was supposed to. Ah, you know, it didn't actually make it into a list. And why is that? Oh. Oh, because the lists are supposed to be stars. You know what? So I'm gonna change that so that a dash, I would tend to use a dash for a list rather than a star. So yeah, you know what? Let me go ahead and change that. So when I make the list item, I did it a little bit differently than the way I did it just this morning. But yeah, so there's the, oh my gosh. Let me just go to NeoCities and try changing this. I'm not sure if I'm logged into NeoCities. NeoCities. Oh, I am. Good. So let's go to update my site 4 months ago. Sure. Let's go edit site. Oops. Can I edit it right here? Okay, good. So rather than just using a literal star, how about we use a literal star or a literal dash? Can we do that? And then I suppose I could just put it right into here, I guess. Maybe that's what I'll do. My resume thingy, I mean. Okay, sure. So debug technician. Receiving water spider. The editor seems a little sluggish. S-floor. Palletizing. Cables. Shelf picking. Rails. Okay. Save. All right, so now if I try to load it again, will it be added? It might not be quite ready to go yet. Yeah, it's not quite there. Last updated 12 seconds ago. No. There it is. It still looks wrong though, doesn't it? Darn. Yeah, it didn't come out correctly at all. Interesting. I think I probably just didn't do it right. I think I did it better when I did it just now on exorcism. Okay, so it looks like this. So when I just did it on exorcism, I put all the LIs like this. So why did I think that this... Okay, let's see. Let's close, close, close. Oh my gosh, I closed the one I didn't mean to. Okay, so what was I doing here that I thought was supposed to be working? Because it's not. Li dot star. Okay. Any amount of white space. That does seem like it kind of makes sense. I think that in this mode, I want to say I need to put the new line in there explicitly as a possibility. But it can't be any amount of new lines. It would be just one new line. So there's optionally a new line right there. Nope. I'm mad. I'm mad and tilted. What time is it? Oh, it's so early. So early. Okay. So yeah, it didn't come out correct at all. So this was supposed to be a star or a dash, space, whatever. Okay. All right, so what if I just change it to be like just the way I had it here? File has been saved. Okay. No. No. So I'm looking at the wrong thing. The real problem is that they didn't even get turned into LIs. That's the real problem. So why am I looking at the UL thing? Ugh, dumb. So why did they not get changed into LIs? Let's look. So for LIs, it was supposed to be like this, GM. So it's supposed to be either a literal star or a literal dash. Okay. And am I sure that it's updated? Script. Yeah, that's updated. Okay, so if I take this text so we're going to replace wherever there is a dash followed by something to the end, GM, LI, $1, LI. So that gets all of them. All right, let's just make it a little bit simpler then. So this was a literal star. So I'm going to make it simpler by doing the dash on its own, just like that. Okay. I think that should work then. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What happened? Ugh. Did I do the paragraph too early? Where's the paragraph? It looks like I did the paragraph too early. In this one, I did the paragraph after, didn't I? Or did I? Yeah, of course I did. Oh, I see. So I like it better the way I did it just this morning, but okay. So yeah, that does. I wasn't looking there for the problem, but that is where the problem was. Okay. Oh wait. Now there's an awkward space in there. What happened? Ah, why do I have a P in there? It does not seem like I should have that. Oof. P stuck in there super awkwardly. Yeah, I think it's nonsense to do it that way. I think it makes a lot more sense to do it this way. Although, yeah, it probably makes more sense to do it this way. I don't know, like, did I think that this markdown helper was good enough? Because that's crazy. Man, I really like the way I like the way I did it this morning a lot better than what I did whenever back in the day. Oh my gosh. Um, this is nasty. I don't know. It's probably not all that bad. But I don't know how I got that extra paragraph in there. That does seem a little crazy. So we should put a paragraph. I think we're putting it on full lines. Hmm. Now I'm a complete mess. Oh my goodness gracious. It's just a horrible, nasty thing, right? I don't think I generally speaking want any empty paragraphs regardless, so I guess I'll make that change. Hmm. Wow. Yeah, there are crazy amounts of paragraphs being made here. What the heck? Now I'm just a complete mess. So in this one, I have it as we have something that's not this. So I'm going to try this instead, like I was saying earlier. And I have it after everything, pretty much. So I'm going to get rid of this. And this is going to be here. And I'm going to put this. And then these go after, I guess. Is that going to screw it all up? It seems likely, yeah. Okay, let's see. Okay, well, it looks better. Oops. It looks better. I do still have a bunch of P's that don't belong, but I got rid of one. I got rid of the one P. Okay, so now we just want to make sure that if we're going to make a P, it should have something in it other than white space. So I'm going to say G1 match any non-white space character. And if it does, then we will make a paragraph. Otherwise, we'll just not do anything. Ah! Still there? I did save, right? Yeah, I still have these goofy empty P's. Man, for some reason I thought that this would do the trick. G1.match some non-white space character. Okay, but I need to look at these other ones. Are these ones messed up now? I think that one looks okay. I should have kept the old version for comparison, though. This one, I think, looks okay, actually. Okay, well, I don't think they look messed up. Wait a minute, maybe they are. I have the horizontal rule here. That's good. I have it here as well. Some of these had, like, some... Okay, yeah, so this is in italics. Do I have any that had anything bolded? Yeah, I think this is bolded. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay, so it looks fine, I think. I'm bothered by those paragraphs with nothing in them. Maybe more than I should be. But because it looks okay, fine, right? It's all distraction keeping me from working on this boring crap. No, it's not even supposed to be boring. I don't know, man. Yeah, admittedly, this does look better, I think. Markdown allows for the creation of nested lists by simply indenting sub-items. So mine obviously does not support that as of right now, but I do think it would be a good idea. Technically, though, I don't think these are going to be nested lists. I think they're going to be subheadings. I think these are going to be subheadings. Subheadings technically makes more sense. Nested lists, I should support them, right? It says right here, nested lists. So, and I don't support them. But in this particular case, I do think these probably make more sense as subheadings with lists underneath of them. So, item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4, item 5. So the goal is to come up with 5 items for each of these headings. And then I'm gonna put other warehouse duties. And that will also, so this one, it's probably 5. And then miscellaneous tasks, because I've worked there 8 months. Many times I have done tasks outside the warehouse itself. Okay, so that's the idea. And then I am going to want some brief explanation in probably 2 paragraphs here. So paragraph 1, I'm going to say, to apply for the debug technician role at the factory where I currently work, I will plan to emphasize my recent employment experience working in the rack warehouse. This is the most relevant experience because it is working for the same company at the same site. Okay, then the second paragraph, let's say, in this first section, I will outline the work duties that I have had in the rack warehouse. Accomplishments will be covered later. So I know everybody, when you're writing the resume, everybody's like, hey, you know what? Work duties do not really make a good resume. Focusing on accomplishments does, right? And of course I understand and believe that. But I think it can be a mistake to focus on this to the exclusion of work duties, because if you have a resume that talks about a job that you had and it's just accomplishments and you don't even say what the job was, it's not very understandable necessarily. Okay, so let's see how this looks. All right, so that's cool, I guess. So we have these 2 paragraphs, and then I have these lists of items under subheadings. All right, so then the idea is that today, by the end of the day, I might not even get back to doing web dev. Today, by the end of the day, the idea is to fill in all of these items. And if I do that, then I think that'll be better. All right. So, give me 5 minutes and then I'll come back, I guess, and do some of this and just dive right in. All right. I'm gonna be honest, I think my markdown solution on exorcism, that might actually be one of the terser solutions. I don't know, you think people have been submitting a lot here? Community solutions. We can sort by fewest lines. Is this the one I just did? No, this is 2 years ago. Where's the one I just did? So I did one 2 years ago. This is the one that 2 years ago. It's been that long. My goodness gracious. All right. So a lot of these are about the same size, I guess. Where's the one I just did? Or is it even on here? My iteration. How many lines does it say? Well, I mean, it's not a lot. Oh, you know what? I don't think I've published it. It says in progress. All tests passed. Oh, hold on. It says in progress. Overview. Mark is complete. There we go. Fewest lines. Okay, so I just submitted... So this was 13 lines 2 years ago. I think the one I just submitted was about the same. Is it here, though? All right, so let's just see this one. 6 lines. That's the fewest by far. Add variants. Ugh. Sir. Sir, this is JavaScript. All right, well, normally we don't format JavaScript like that, but whatever. Okay, okay. So yeah, this looks nice. This looks very nice, actually. A lot of these are pretty much exactly the same as what I did, huh? Oh, interesting. Um, I don't, okay, so I don't like this one after all, because if there's more than one unordered list in the input, then that's gonna fail, right? I wonder, I wonder if I should consider, like, going onto the forum and asking for updates to this one. The thing is, like, updates would make a lot of people's old solutions fail. Like, this solution, like, this, clearly this should fail, right? Because it won't work if there's more than one unordered list in this, in the input, right? At least I don't think so. But I mean, mine should fail on a lot of things too, right? Like I found some of that already. I don't know. Oh, Cool Cat, 52 lines. ATK 10. Huh. Interesting, interesting. This is pretty neat. I think this is probably pretty robust. compared to like what I was doing. I don't know why I said that. Like, just at a glance, that was the impression that I got. All right. So what has been done here? What is this actually in regex? You do this. I don't even know. I'm not sure I've even seen this before. Okay, so where is it? So here they used one. Negates the assertion. Okay. It succeeds if the pattern does not match. Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I just haven't seen it before. Cool. Let me star that. Okay, so am I going to actually work on this? Oh my gosh. I can't imagine. It's so cringe writing out job duties. Um or is it cringe? What is cringe? Nothing in this situation is cringe. Everything is neutral. Neutral, neutral, neutral. Completely and totally neutral, I'm sure. All right, I'm gonna hop off and hop back on later. Yeah, for some reason when I look and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write this out, and in my mind I'm thinking, do I even know? Do I even know what goes here? I'm not sure. Maybe I don't know. All right, I'm gonna log off. Oh, let's try rating again. I'm gonna look for someone to raid. At least I'm gonna try. Okay, Twitch. Okay, is it gonna be a VTuber again? Let's find out. Not a VTuber this time, but it looks like it's arts and crafts with a whale. Oh, it's like a watercolor whale. It looks amazing, whatever it is. So I'm gonna hop on there. So I'm gonna find this. It is Scuba Lou. Yeah, they're doing like a whale, a couple of whales. It looks really pretty amazing. It looks great. All right, I'm gonna hop on over there.